Hi everyone, Virginia Hernandez, Century 21 All-Stars, and I'm here today with Mr.
Christopher Foster.
And the reason we're doing this little video is to educate you. My forte has been residential, and now I'd like to branch out and help a lot of my clients that own restaurants, that own a tire shop, and really get you to understand how important it is to own your own business, your locale. And that's why I'm here with Mr. Foster, Chris Foster, who is the expert in commercial financing. And Chris, give us a little bit of a rundown. First of all, who would qualify for these types of commercial lending programs?
I think so. First and foremost, any business out there that currently leases, that is maybe their lease is coming due,
right?
And now it's time for them to make a decision on, do I continue to lease? Or let me see if there's any opportunities out there and how can I buy? And the programs that the SBA has for the small business owner.
What is an SBA?
An SBA loan is backed by the Small Business Administration. It's not funded by the SBA, but it's an insurance policy. It's the FHA of the commercial world. What it is, it's backed by the SBA. They allow you to put down as little as 0% to as much as 15%, give or take, as long as your business will occupy 51% of the square footage that you're buying. But why is it important to you, Virginia, is because I truly believe that the amount of the amount of homeowners that you've represented that are business owners maybe don't know that this exists. And so putting this resource to you, someone that's highly skilled, respected, hardworking, and allow you to put that in front of your clients will elevate them to greater levels. You will be able to create generational wealth from the commercial standpoint that they never thought they would have. And specifically, our message for the last 2 years is to the Latino business owners. We're big on this movement, and we always say, we say, our grandparents, when I was young, she would say, my grandma would tell me, "Bueno, you gotta buy your own house." Because you don't let anybody else, you buy your own house. But my grandma never owned a business. She was raising 7 kids. My grandfather didn't. But little did they know that if you own your own piece of commercial real estate, now that you own your business, you're creating generational wealth for your kids and your grandkids at levels that you've never seen before. Number one. Number two is the tax benefits that come with it. From a business perspective, they're always taught, don't show any gains, don't pay taxes, write everything off. But if you own commercial real estate, there's so many tax benefits that allow your taxable income to come down the right way, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of categories that you can write off by owning commercial real estate.
Beautiful.
But tire stores, bakeries,
beautiful,
auto mechanics, restaurants is huge, landscape companies, concrete companies, air conditioning companies, I'm dealing with a couple of those right now, our grooming business, we're dealing with daycare. What we call congregate living is big for the older people that have to go into shared facilities for help. Those are, we have a lot of those deals in the pipeline. Where we focus on is where we tell the realtors is anybody in your database who blue-collar workers. It's the rise of the blue-collar worker. The next 10 years is going to be the rise of the blue-collar worker. And who better to represent the blue-collar worker? Virginia and Realtor B, but Virginia, because traditionally the small business owners, the blue-collar workers, they weren't being properly represented. The corporate real estate people were representing the corporate real estate buyers. But guess what? Things have turned. And guess what? You're in the best position because you've been representing these people for 20 years.
100%. And a lot of them are self-employed, and this is a beautiful example of what they can do now to take it to a new level. How difficult is it to qualify? What are some of the important requirements?
Number one, you have to file your taxes. Very important as a business. A lot of businesses will delay filing their taxes. It's very important that you seek help now. Reach out to a professional and do your taxes. Now, what does do your taxes mean? It's okay that you show losses. A lot of businesses think they don't qualify, Virginia. They think they don't qualify because I show 40,000 in losses. And what we know that there's programs out there that says, oh, it's okay if you've been showing losses for 3 years. We have a program that allows us to do what's called a projection-based deal. And what does a projection-based deal mean? We do income minus expenses for 3 to 5 years, showing that as we project forward that you show enough money to qualify for that new debt.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have to be historical, you'd have to report it, but we can qualify you based on that. And a lot of businesses right off the bat, they're like, oh no, we don't think we qualify because we don't pay taxes. And I can tell you right now, 10 out of 10 of the last loans that we do, first generation Latino, pallet yard owner, tire store owner, I mean, they go on and go on. Guess what? They all show losses. The pallet store, let me just tell you, this guy doesn't speak a lick of English, all Spanish. First generation here. He's been renting in this location 18 years.
Wow.
Paying $40,000 a month of rent in LA.
What?
Over $8 million of rent he's paid over 18 years. A residential realtor, you met her actually,
Yes.
right? Bertha.
Wow.
You met her. She's like, Chris, he buy? Well, let's see. Show losses. We figured it out. He bought it for $6.2 million.
Wow.
No money out of his pocket, not one penny.
Wow, and the business generates enough where
Yes,
manage it.
Absolutely, and he can split up the land. He's going to be able to rent out some of his land to somebody else.
Beautiful.
And his business is booming. And believe it or not, that pallet business it does very well. I'm getting the tire stores. If you own a tire business, if you own an auto mechanic business, muffler business, the ones that change your oil, those types of businesses are very, very good businesses to reach out to for yourself. There's great opportunities out there for 99% of the small business. It's a matter, honestly, it's just, let's put the information in front of them. Do you rent? Oh, you rent. Well, I can show you options to buy, and that's very important. They just don't know and don't understand.
Especially if it's a thriving company.
Very much so.
Right? How much do you think they would need in required funds to get a process started, or at least to complete this sale or purchase?
First and foremost, the way the process works, make sure you gather all of your financial docs. It's very, very important to give companies like ourselves or other companies that are out there, but no one's like us, but other companies out there that can take your information, evaluate it the right way, have the ability to be creative, and then present you with multiple options.
Beautiful.
Number one. Number two, every commercial real estate deal, once you get past the stage of approval and you find a property, it's going to cost the borrower $9,000. Now, the $9,000 doesn't go to us. The $9,000 is your commitment fee, and it pays for your appraisal and your environmental. Your appraisal will run about $3,500 to $4,500, and the environmental will also run about $4,500. $9,000 total. You gather all your documents, you get approved. Virginia says, hey, I found a property for them. She goes out, gets the approval letter. Once she goes into escrow, that $9,000 gets paid to the SBA lender to order those reports. That's the cost of doing business from that perspective. Overall, give or take, whatever your loan amount is, it should not cost you. It should cost you anywhere between 1.5% and 3% of the loan amount should be your closing costs. Give or take.
Still, very doable.
Very doable. And as a realtor, you have the ability to take your client to be very creative. You can go to the seller and say, hey, seller, are you willing? My buyer doesn't have the money, but can you carry back his down payment in a second position? Oh, you'll carry back 15%. Great. Now your client can be very creative, and that's the ability that we have as your partner to say, Virginia, let us show you how to show your client, because I mean, you have a ton of value for your clients. I truly believe that, honestly, if you looked at 100 clients of yours that own businesses right now, I guarantee you 95 of them can go out and do something.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, I guess my last question, from start to finish, how long does it take? What's this process look like?
60 days max. If you have an approval and you have all your documents in, realistically, we could get this deal closed in 37 to 45 days. But I tell people, take 60 days overall. Your appraisal and your environmental take the longest.
Okay.
Those take 30 days, up to 30 days. You can get it expedited 18, 20 days, but overall 30 days. But that's why it's very important for you to talk to a professional to get all your finances in order, give yourself options.
Right.
Now when you enter escrow, you're just moving full steam ahead. We just closed a deal in Torrance, $1.246 million, first time residential realtor, just closed today actually, and it was 38 days. So it can get done. Everybody's got to work together.
Right.
And that's what's very important.
Let's just tad information on the environmental. So there's basically phase 1, phase 2. When is that important, and is it required on every property?
It's a great question. Every commercial real estate transaction that is financed by any bank across the United States outside of private money, hard money, but SBA finance across the United States requires a phase one. A phase one is your initial research of a property. A third party comes in, does all the research. Was it a gas station in the 1920s? Was it a laundromat? They do all their homework. They come back to you and they give you a report. It either says NFA, no further action, or FA, further action. You want that report to say NFA, okay? If it says no further action, you're good to go. If it says FA, further action, they're gonna require you to get a phase two. Means now at that point, they're gonna investigate the ground. They're gonna dig in and take air samples as very close to groundwater to see if there's some contamination based off of the research that they did from the phase one report. The phase one will cost you about $4,500, give or take. Appraisal, $4,500. Now, if you have to get a phase two, it can be as much as $25,000 to $15,000 to $25,000, and then you're gonna ask, well, who pays that, right?
Right.
Well, the realtor would go in and negotiate with the seller side, and how it works usually is, hey, seller, we'll pay for it, but if it comes back, phase two comes back dirty, you're gonna owe us back this money. So again, it comes back to your negotiating skills.
Right.
It's something that you've been doing forever anyways.
Let's talk about who we want this message to go to. Who is this business owner that you think really needs to hear this message?
Well, I'm gonna get back to what I said earlier. As a company, our message is to speak to the Latino small business owners. And why is that? We need to truly show them, from my background and my grandparents, from Mexico, my mom, everybody, and it just shows me they didn't have that opportunity. They sent me to college to go and learn, and they said, my grandma said, hey, when you come back, you gotta use it, right? And so now that there's certain skill sets we have, and you see the people that have been taking advantage the most of not being able to be shown this program, locally at least, are the Latinos. And so first and foremost, every Latino small business out there, if you're out there, this program's for you. Virginia's clients, if you're small business owners, you gotta get with her. She will show you the different models to get out there and buy commercial real estate. This will change your life forever. And we're not even gonna get into this today, but there's huge tax advantages that drive your taxable income down significantly by owning commercial real estate. And that's huge. And that's what our team is out there educating realtors, loan officers, tax preparers, CPAs even, just helping them say, Chris, you guys can do 0% here. Let me show you, here's the 10 deals.
Love it.
So I teach people, my job is to teach people how to leverage the financing, right? Because my grandparents always says, Milo, you pay cash for everything. I went to finance school. Finance school, they tell you, leverage financing as much as you can. Now, the financing has to get paid for. But if you show them how to leverage it and multiply it and everybody wins, then why not?
Beautiful.
And I think that's very important. To answer your question, every small business that's out there requires at least a gut check to say, oh, maybe I should. Let me go talk to somebody. I may not be able to do it this year. I may not be able to do it next year. But for us, it's our job to help everybody plan. That's very, very important.
Hopefully this information really did help. For, again, anybody who is self-employed, reach out to us. I have an expert now part of my team.
Yep.
I'm very excited to open up my branch into commercial, and I really look forward to assisting you again side by side with Chris Foster, one of the best commercial lenders. I'm Virginia Hernandez, Century 21 ALLSTARS. Thank you.
And I'm Chris Foster. Let's go. Yeah, there we go.